This is the gospel of Jesus Christ according to Matthew, the 9th chapter. Jesus went about all the cities and villages, teaching in their synagogues and proclaiming the good news of the kingdom and curing every disease and every sickness. When he saw the crowds, he had compassion for them because they were harassed and helpless like sheep without a shepherd. Then he said to his disciples, "The harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. Therefore ask the Lord of the harvest to send out laborers into his harvest." Then Jesus summoned his 12 disciples and gave them authority over unclean spirits to cast them out and to cure every disease and every sickness. These are the names of the 12 apostles. First, Simon, also known as Peter, and his brother Andrew. James, son of Zebedee, and his brother John, Philip and Bartholomew, Thomas, and Matthew, the tax collector, James, son of Alphaeus and Thaddeus, Simon the Canaanian, and Judas Iscariot, the one who betrayed him. These 12 Jesus sent out with the following instructions. Do not take a road leading to Gentiles, and do not enter a Samaritan town, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. As you go, proclaim the good news. The kingdom of heaven has come near. Cure the sick, raise the dead, cleanse those with a skin disease, cast out demons. You received without payment, give without payment. Take no gold or silver or copper in your belts, no bag for your journey, or 2 tunics, or sandals, or a staff, for laborers deserve their food. Whatever town or village you enter, find out who in it is worthy, and stay there until you leave. As you enter the house, greet it. If the house is worthy, let your peace come upon it, but if it is not worthy, let your peace return to you. If anyone will not welcome you or listen to your words, shake off the dust from your feet as you leave that house or town. Truly I tell you, it will be more tolerable for the land of Sodom and Gomorrah on the day of judgment than for that town. I am sending you out like sheep into the midst of wolves, so be wise as serpent, innocent as doves. Beware of them, for they will hand you over to councils and flog you in their synagogues, and you will be dragged before governors and kings because of me, as a testimony to them and the Gentiles when they hand you over. Do not worry about how you are to speak or what you are to say, for what you are to say will be given to you at that time. For it is not you who speak, but the Spirit of your Father speaking through you. Sibling will betray sibling to death, and a father his child, and the children will rise against parents and have them put to death, and you will be hated by all because of my name, but the one who endures to the end will be saved. When they persecute you in this town, flee to the next. For truly I tell you, you will not have finished going through all the towns of Israel before the Son of Man comes. This is the gospel of our Lord. Praise to you, O Christ. I am sending you out like sheep into the midst of wolves. They will hand you over to councils and flog you in their synagogues. You will be dragged before governors and kings. The way of Jesus Christ is for losers. I want you to hear that. Because the cross of Christ is not a rope-a-dope trick on the path to a conquering victory. The willingness to lose instead of taking up the means of the devil is the victory. That's what Jesus is telling the 12 before he sends them out. Be prepared to lose, because it's going to be rough out there. And before we discuss the implication of that, I want us to keep something in mind. Jesus is describing the dangers the 12 would encounter. He is not prescribing an outcome we must court or seek in order to prove our devotion to God. In other words, Jesus is warning his disciples of the realities for which they must be prepared to encounter. He is not instructing his followers throughout time to go out and pick a fight in his name. I mean, the very next line about being wise as serpents, innocent as doves, really hints that it's the opposite. Jesus is telling them, and in some ways, by extension, us, to be careful. Do not give the people we encounter a reason to be extra offended. I mean, it's probably going to happen because people are people. They get upset, but don't instigate it. Unfortunately, there is a long tradition of certain sects of the church that do just that. They send their adherents out on evangelical missions that are basically designed to bother people. Nuisance preaching that will almost certainly cause someone just trying to go about their daily life to lash out at them. And the point of that is not to spread the gospel. That antagonistic tactic is terrible at that. But it turns out it's really good at trauma bonding the adherents who experience that rejection to give them a heightened sense of connection within their bubble. That is not what Jesus is doing. He is sending them out to lose, but really in a very opposite way. He is warning them of the dangers and telling them to be wary, be careful, don't make it worse. If someone doesn't welcome you, shake off the dust from your sandals and move along. Don't stick around for a fight. It's dangerous enough. Don't court disaster. It's not going to help the cause. We're trying to love people just because we love them. The mission is to share the good news and to find connection in our love for one another, not to bond over a hero's journey. Jesus isn't sending them out as conquerors. This is not a warrior's path, and following Jesus never is. Even if you end up being unable to avoid the conflict, Jesus says, do not prepare for the fight. Do not even prepare your argument. Let God deal with that. And that's actually a much more difficult mandate than being told to train for the coming war. Because in it, we have to drop this idea of being victorious. We have to be ready to lose. That's what we're being called to do. To embrace the loss. And depending on how you date it, the original audience of Matthew's gospel was either staring at the inevitability of a Roman invasion or has just lived through a Roman invasion that would kill millions. Real, catastrophic loss is not an abstract or theoretical concept for them. It is a very tangible reality. And they still gathered around these words for hope. Do not worry about how you are to speak or what you are to say, for what you are to say will be given to you at that time. For it is not you who speak, but the Spirit of your Father speaking through you. And in case that sounds like an assurance that God will grant them victory, Jesus continues, when they persecute you in one town, flee to the next. He does not want a conquering army. He wants ambassadors of his love, deliverers of his good news, lovers of his children. That is the mission, folks. Christianity is for losers. Loving our neighbor is not a tactic for victory. It is the whole point. Christ's kingdom is coming with or without our work, but we get to live like it right now. We are not called to pretend to love our neighbors in some bait and switch to spread the gospel. We share the good news of Christ's life, death, and resurrection to bolster one another in the hope that we'll be required to endure in this work of loving the world God made. That's the task. Love our neighbors. Have compassion on them. Heal what we can heal regardless of what it shall achieve. And don't worry about saving up before you start. Don't worry about being ready, because you never will be. Just get started. You don't need gold or silver or extra tunics. You can earn your wages on your way. You can figure it out as you go. Just get started, because the kingdom of heaven is near. And the little congregations I serve are pretty good at that. Just getting started business. A while ago, a council member of one of them came forward with a story about these two women in the near town who seemed to be doing this work on a real level, feeding people, helping with household necessities. They were trying to connect people in need to little congregations like ours that wanted to help people but might not have the infrastructure or know what to do. The council heard about this and without question or hesitation said, let's be part of it. And now there is a bin in our sanctuary that collects goods for them. We have sent volunteers to help serve food. We are figuring out what it means to be part of that. Without even thinking, off the top of my head, I can think of another council for another congregation I serve that, at least on 2 occasions, heard of someone who had found themselves without shelter as the months got colder, and without question decided to put that person up in a motel. And it was a much larger discussion as to whether or not we could actually help them achieve a stable situation than how the heck we were going to manage to do it. Several months ago, I went to all 3 of my councils with an idea. It seemed simple to me. We could provide food bank clients with other needed non-food items, soap, shampoo, feminine hygiene products. We would do it as the food bank gave out what they were giving out. One by one, without a clue as to what it was that we were going to do, each council said, yes, let's do it. We are now 2 months in to distributing items that I don't know how we've managed to afford or do. But volunteers have come forward, contributions have come in, the laborers are getting their food. We still have no idea what it is we are doing. There were neighbors that needed loved. And these congregations, these little congregations struggling to keep the lights on, said, let's do it. We'll figure it out later. No gold, no silver, no copper in our belts. And look, that doesn't mean that these congregations will get to know anything that looks like winning in this world. It doesn't mean I will begin preaching to full pews or that our budgets will be balanced. But it is pretty neat. It's pretty neat to be part of what God is doing in this world. It's pretty neat. And that is the kind of stuff that little congregations like mine can invite people to be a part of. Even and especially when it looks like we're going to lose, because Christianity is for losers. But boy, it's a beautiful way to lose. To be part of a kingdom in which love is more important than victory. So if you're in our area, Ford City, Manorville, Pennsylvania, and want to be part of that, I welcome you to St. John's Grace, Emmanuel Heilman. If you're somewhere else, may you find a community that is part of that work, because I tell you, we will not even come close to running out of people or ways to love them before the kingdom arrives in fullness. May the good news strengthen us in hope to endure until that day. Amen.